Keith. 6 o'clock, I am calling this meeting to order. And if you could just rise with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They need to take their flag out from behind the,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
behind the board.
okay. So we're gonna go right into election of chair.
So,
Take a list of who's present.
You wanna do that? Cause I didn't know if you wanted me to switch right over.
Oh.
Okay, let's do, roll call.
Diane Adinolfo?
Keith Cross, school board rep,
Oh. Well,
are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
you want me to take notes? If you give me like a piece of note paper, I can take notes.
And I was in town hall today, too.
Totally
I
forgot.
totally, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Just,
We'll start off with the, we call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock.
okay.
We did the pledge.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going into, we're gonna do introductions. Roll
Diane
call.
Adinolfo?
Keith
Select
Cross,
board rep?
Keith Cross, school board rep,
Melaine Bover,
Timothy Silvernail?
okay. So that represents 4, so that represents a quorum
You
of
didn't say
act.
his name,
hold on.
did you?
No, he did not.
She gave me the eye.
No, because he's being appointed, he's not. Of the active
Oh, here.
board
Oh,
members,
okay, I understand, I'm sorry.
no, we were 7, so 4 makes a quorum. And we have 4. There's Diane, there's Keith, myself, and Tim
All right.
that represent the quorum to move things forward.
Oh, so we're appointing June, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if
Somebody-
this
Yeah,
gentleman was the
no, we'll get there.
incognito appointment. Scott McDonald, interested, sir.
Okay. So he's our citizen. Here's Vicky.
Vicky, okay.
Hello, Vicky. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You want to just state your name for the record?
Victoria Cassidy.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna go right into election of chairperson. So, I will tell you, I've been chair on this board for many, many, many years. And I am stepping down from chair, so I'm not interested in being chair this coming year. I will, and I'm not interested in any other position other than just being a member at large. So, that being said, we need to make a nomination for an acting chair to take over this meeting from that point forward, this point forward.
So acting chair for,
Well, we need a chair, someone to be nominated for a chair. We need to vote on this chair, and then we need to make some appointments.
gotcha.
And I have all the appointment papers right up here. Or you can elect me pro temp, and I'll get through all of that for this meeting only, and then we'll do chair at the end.
Why don't we do that?
Why don't we do that? I'll make
Okay.
I'll make a motion to, make Melaine pro temp chair to get through the appointments. And then from there, we'll go into the election of chair, vice chair, and secretary.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
So I need a motion.
I'll
I
second.
just motion.
You motion, you second, all in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Okay, so I will continue on then. So we will go right to the motion to accept a resignation. Following the March election, John Childs, who was an active member of the board of, the budget committee, resigned. He no longer wanted to be part of the budget committee. He has been appointed, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, to the board of selectmen through March of next
Correct.
year. So I need a motion on the floor to accept his resignation.
So, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you about that, but I thought we were gonna do the appointments and then go into the chair and continue on business from there.
It does, I thought I was gonna do it all and we were gonna do the
Well,
chair at the end. That's what we just decided.
We can accept the resignation, because
Yeah.
that leaves
Yeah.
a slot open,
Okay,
right?
Right.
Otherwise it's
Alright.
not,
Right,
so.
alright.
okay. So I need a motion on the floor to accept John's resignation.
I motion.
Tim motions, I need a second.
Second.
Vicky, any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, there is another motion, I'm proposing a motion to eliminate or remove a non-participating member. And that is coming through RSA pursuant to RSA, 32:15 municipal budget law, chapter 32. And that is if you fail to attend a meeting for 4 consecutive meetings, unexcused, you can be voted off. And the person that I wish to remove from the budget committee would be Josh Goulet. You didn't even meet him last year, Vicki. He didn't attend one meeting at all last year with proper notification on every meeting.
Alright,
My thought is perhaps he moved out of town, I don't know.
yeah.
But we need to fill that
Okay.
slot. So I need a motion on the floor to accept, to remove this non-participating member, Josh Goulet.
So moved.
Keith makes a motion,
Second.
Vicky seconds, any further discussion?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have to free up, if you're not gonna be here, I need to free up spaces to,
Right.
you know, okay, and that's part of the New Hampshire RSA of the municipal
All right,
budget
thank you,
laws.
thank you, bye-bye.
Okay. Do you want me to continue on and make the appointments?
Did we vote?
We did vote.
Sure.
Sorry.
You wanna vote again?
I'm sorry, the motion?
Keith made the motion,
Okay.
Vicky seconded,
Okay,
and we agreed to, we did vote.
okay.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
Pay attention. Okay. All right. So do you want me to move forward and, do the minutes and do the appointments?
I say we do the appointments,
Okay,
and then go into the election of the chair, because then that obviously gives us more people here,
that can actually discuss
that can
things.
discuss some things, right?
Okay. So the first one is Jeff Benegas, who was called into a second job meeting tonight, so he couldn't be here. So he is one of the ones that we're appointing. Actually, maybe we can do this next meeting then, because he'll need to sign this.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna keep him on
And
the
then the
side.
Board of Select, well, actually, the,
Board of Selectmen.
we approve, the Board of Selectmen signs, and
Right.
then he takes his oath.
The other one is Julie Keene, who was appointed last year, and should have been on the ballot in March of this year, because your appointment is only until the next election day,
Okay.
and you were not on the ballot, so I need to appoint you. So you still wanna be a member of the, thank you. So I need a motion to accept and to appoint Julie Keenes to the Municipal Budget Committee.
I motion.
Second.
Okay, so that was Tim
And,
and Vicky.
okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So this will go to Julie for her signature. The other one is Steve Marks, is that it? Mark, I'm sorry. Okay, so Steve Mark, again, will be appointed to the Budget Committee for a 1-year term. You still wish to serve?
Yes.
Okay. So in March of next year, you need to be on the ballot, okay? If you want to continue on, you
Right.
need to be put on the ballot. So I'm entertaining a motion for Steve Mark to be on the Municipal Budget Committee.
So moved.
Keith, I need a second.
I'll second.
Tim seconds. Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Congratulations. So you need to sign here and date it. So these will go to the Board of Selectmen, but for purposes of this meeting, you're an active member. So you're signing right here. And then we have Lisa Toll and Roger Staley, who I know wanna be on, so again, we're just gonna wait till next meeting on that. So this is Steve's. But Steve, I think, needs to complete this because it's just the contact information for town hall. Julie, we have yours.
So, yeah. So we can put that on the MS 123 to send to
There
the
you go.
state.
Okay, so that will take care of the appointments. So we have 3 that we'll have to carry over until next month.
Oh, yeah, Jeff and Lisa and Roger, right?
You got it,
Okay.
okay.
And that
Okay.
still leaves us, how many short?
We'll be one short, which, will be one short for right now.
Okay.
And the other oath that will need to be signed, although she was on the ballot, Diane, is Deb Carney.
Yes.
So she will need to sign it, but I mean, she is on the budget committee, yeah.
So that's gonna go to next meeting too?
Well, just her signature. Just her signature we'll need.
Oh, 'cause she
She's
was
all
elected.
set. She was
Okay.
elected. And Vicky, you went to town hall and you took your oath, so you're good. Cool, so that will take care of all of that. Okay, so that takes care of all of the appointments of new members. So the other thing that I want, you want me to continue on? Tell me when you want me to stop.
Well, do we have the oath here?
Diane can swear me.
It's gotta be signed by the, it's
Board
gotta
of
be signed by
Selectmen.
the Board of Selectmen, yeah. That's
So for
Steve,
now,
right?
we have a quorum. We have 4 active
Right,
members.
right.
Yeah, we had a quorum before
Yeah.
we did appointments.
Right.
It's gotta be signed.
Because they're not official yet, even though they're appointed, they're not official until they get sworn in and the
Correct.
selectmen
Correct.
do their duty.
Yep.
Okay, so the other thing that we need to address is the minutes of the deliberative session, the Saturday, January 31st meeting. I was not at that meeting, that's when I was in Boston.
Yeah.
So present at that meeting was Tim, Chris Fowler, Lisa Toll. They have me as being here, and I was not. I was not there.
Yeah, Jeff ran that.
Yes, so I am not there. I was excused though. John Childs, Julie, Mark Salamento was there, Jeff Benegas, Vicky, and Roger
Did you say that was
Staley.
a deliberative?
This was a deliberative on Saturday, January 31st. So this is just a one page, I guess it wasn't a lot of discussion, it was just to vote on a couple warrant articles.
Correct.
No, wait a minute. This is wrong. This is the meeting that we did at Town Hall. Cause this pertains to the, we'll still need this signed, but I was at that meeting. This is the one we did it, so it's not the deliberative.
Okay,
Yeah, we had like a 5-minute meeting at the deliberative just to.
Yeah, this is just the budget committee meeting, and that was for the trash. And so I'm gonna sign it, cause I was there.
What date is that?
January 31st.
I'll make a motion to accept the January 31st meeting minutes.
You know, I still don't think this is right. And again, I was not at the deliberative. I was at the one at Town Hall, so we'd have to go back to see when that meeting took place. That's when we were just looking at Article 23 and 24.
Yep.
For the trash. What threw me off here, it says Budget Committee meeting, but Saturday, we never meet on a Saturday unless we're in budget season.
yes. that's
So, this was on a Monday night, or it was on an evening, it was not on Saturday morning. So I'm gonna cross that out, and we're going to,
right. That was the 150, yeah.
yeah, it was an evening meeting.
At the school in the CAF or at the town hall?
Scott, you were there, when
I
we,
was.
when we did the, it was Article 23, 24, and then the revolving fund for recycling.
Yeah.
That was done at Town Hall. And I believe it was done in, maybe before or after a Board of Selectmen meeting.
No, this is only for Article 23, right? Is there a second page?
Yeah,
This
signature
is
page.
only for Article 23, which was the $150,000 for the warrant article, which took place after the deliberative session.
Correct.
Because that's when,
That's when they didn't have a number. Okay,
that's
perfect.
when,
So I'm not signing it, then I was not there.
that's when, Kathleen
Had to
gave
come in
2
with-
different
Right,
proposals, and this
See
is the
which
one
one
that went
stuck.
ahead and passed.
okay.
So we did meet afterwards just to go ahead and
Okay.
accept that, so,
So
again,
it's right then, so you'll need to sign
but
if
it's
you were
weird, my
there.
name's not on here.
You weren't there?
I was there,
Yeah, he was.
right?
Alright.
You were.
Yeah,
Just put an amendment, just cross it off and they can amend it.
so I will make a motion to, amend the, Saturday, January 31st Budget Committee meeting at 1:05, to discuss warrant article, 23 with, removing Lorraine Bover from, being present and adding Keith Claus on as being present.
Okay,
That's the only changes that,
Okay.
I see on here.
alright, did you sign it? You want me to do
Well-
it?
Not yet, because we didn't approve it.
All right,
Well,
I second that.
So-
Okay,
okay.
they'll make the changes,
Okay,
whoever,
so
Yeah.
John will make the changes.
Keith motion, who did the second?
I did.
Tim,
Oh, Tim, okay. Tim, second.
usually
Okay.
meetings are a lot smoother, it's just new
Just a hectic
season,
one.
people are off, people are on, it's, Okay, thank you. Okay.
And January was a long time ago.
January was a long time
Trying to
ago.
remember back.
Yeah. Okay, so we took care of that. So
then-
Diane, can you get that to,
Well, that has to go to Vicky and then Tim.
and,
Yeah.
yeah, but you can get it to John,
I'll,
to there,
yeah, it won't be till
Monday or
Monday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, sorry.
Got it.
Tuesday, all right. Okay.
Okay,
Good morning, Tom.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Ed,
I'm just gonna finish off.
sign right after you.
Leave it to the videographer,
Huh?
leave it to the video, and not have a pen.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll
Technology
go-
all the way.
All right, so you were all given an expenditure
What's
and revenue report for the
21st.
town. I trust that you've had a chance to go through this.
What's coming?
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, as far as revenues go, it's, you know, Diane, can you give us any insight on expenditures and revenues or not really? Like, I mean, you know, we're in May, so this is, you know, we're not halfway, you know, we're a quarter of the way through the year.
41.67% of the year.
Yeah, and the spend
percentage.
was kind of getting close.
Yeah.
So we are getting close, so our major problem this year is we have legal fees due to the situation. And, that is really, taking its toll on the budget. We are, I believe the last figure I heard was $120,000 overspent on legal.
Yeah, I
the
saw
legal
that,
line.
the legal line.
So that's really causing an issue. The tax warrant, I believe we are up to around just shy of $1.5 million in uncollected taxes.
We're 116,000 over the legal line.
116?
As of,
Okay, so-
um,
I was
5/13.
around 120, okay,
Yeah.
close.
Well, maybe another payment went out.
Yeah, no kidding, yeah.
So the revenue, are we doing, right, we're doing expenditures, so let's stick with
Okay.
expenditures and then
Yeah.
we'll. So as far as expenditures go, I mean, if you look at the bottom line of the budget, we have the percent expense is 32.01%.
Yep.
When we're 41.67% into the new year, so we
Yeah.
are doing extremely well from a financial standpoint. I
Under
mean,
the
the-
circumstances,
Under
yeah,
the
we are.
circumstance, and it would have been lower had we not incurred those
Yep.
large legals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cost of doing business, we have to defend ourselves, so we need lawyers, right?
And there are some folks in town, some folks on Facebook actually, on social media, inferring over and over and over again that the town's broke, we're in trouble, blah, blah, blah. The bills are paid, there's money in the bank, they're doing good
Yeah,
with the second in a row.
Right.
Now, we thought, we had some people leave, so it helped with one of those budgets. We thought that if we went default again this year, that
right,
if we do it this year, there'll be a price to pay.
right. But, you know, I mean, if you look at the numbers, you know, cause this is the number right here, right? 32.01% of that
Yep.
total budget has been expensed. And that includes a significant increase on the legal line. So I don't see where money is so tight and we're nowhere near floating TANs, tax anticipation notes. I don't foresee that, correct me if I'm wrong, Diane.
Unless we have.
Something
additional
very unforeseen.
Something
things.
comes up, yeah.
Yeah.
Historically, do bills come due on an even basis through the remainder of the year typically, or do, you know, we're ahead of the game, is what I'm hearing you say now, a third of the way through.
Based on this,
But
yes.
is there do
Well,
large
there were,
expenses come due
I'm
later
sure
in the
there
year
was,
that would even that out?
oh, I'm sure there was some, like workman's comp, that kind of stuff.
Yep,
So,
You know, I'm sure there was some, you know,
that's
Part of the
actually a
answer,
good
right?
point, Steve, where,
Right.
It's the first thing I'd look at, I don't know what I'm doing, but.
yeah,
What else
is
is gonna be due?
where we at
Mm.
compared to May of last year, May of the year before, May of the year before, from a percentage standpoint, right? I'm sure our Board of Selectmen are being extremely careful, being in the default budget again. And there's stuff that's not being done that should be done maybe, like some, you know, road paving or, you know, maintenance on vehicles maybe, or things like that, that need to be, you know, taken care of. And then there's also the fact of, we now have a part-time building inspector versus a full-time building inspector, so there's a cost savings there. Again, not making up
Right.
tons of money, but to Scott McDonald's point is, you know, there's been some people that have left, and there's been some positions, you know, not filled.
Did I just see something on Facebook, sorry? The prosecutor that we're looking to hire a new prosecutor, was that one?
Yeah, that was
We
no,
did.
that was no, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so,
yeah, we
but
did.
are we replacing it?
Yeah,
do we need
she retired,
Okay,
and we're replacing at a, believe, few $1,000s lower salary than what
okay.
we were paying the other prosecutor.
I just didn't know.
and in further response to your question, Steve, you know, as far as, you know, like workman's comp, we budgeted, and this is townwide, 56,185, that's already been expensed.
Okay, just to know if there were.
Right.
Like biannual
Right.
expenses that hadn't hit yet, that
You
would
know,
artificially
so,
skew that
yeah,
number.
no, and as far as insurances, cause you think big, you know, things that don't happen like on a monthly basis, on insurance, what was the insurance, I just had it, property insurance. We budgeted $156,602, and that's for all government buildings, and we've already paid out $138,344, so we're below on that. You know, so, those are the two biggest, I think, ticket items.
Yeah,
You know, everything else, again, foreseeing anything funky, I mean, we can't predict the future, but based on the bills, and the bills as of 5/13, everything had been paid, and this is where we stood.
so just
So-
a point of clarification regarding the part-time building inspector. The salary, the money that we saved is paying the salary for the facilities supervisor, who's overseeing all of the construction going on at the AES school. He has done
See,
an
this is
outstanding job and saved us, he stays right on top of those estimates he's getting, and he's coordinating a lot of the work, so we've got two positions now funded by what used to be one
For a year.
full-time position.
The budget.
Yeah, okay.
That was a good application of the money.
So, you know, those two big ticket items are in the budget as expenditures, so that's even better. So yeah, I mean, I think certainly too early to be screaming default out there, you know, because the cash flow is coming in, although
So I do,
there is you wanna address that, revenue.
no, go ahead. I kinda cut you off, I just
No.
wanted to say that we have dipped into capital reserves.
Mm-hmm.
So the important thing is we really need to work to get people to approve the budget, the amount of money it takes to run the town. And we need to replenish capital reserve funds, because we will be in trouble in another year
Right.
from now.
So,
Now, the audits are done.
Through 2024, they're starting
The
25.
25 is starting in June.
Right.
And, you know, it's preliminary, it's kinda looking like we're gonna be in pretty good shape. So there should be a good amount of money to replenish those capital reserve funds with, money that, you know, whatever we're gonna have left over.
Right.
So hopefully we can replenish those without an impact to taxpayers.
Right.
so, I'll ask you, we're funding stuff out of capital reserve.
Yeah.
Is that reflected in the expenditure report?
We
So,
should, yeah, well, we
right?
should have
Well,
a
yeah, then you
report
have your
for,
capital outlay at the bottom, right, or,
because those are in their own accounts. I don't know how we
you know, like,
is on there.
So I
Oh, there
just,
you go.
yeah, I just, you know, we spent money out of capital reserve funds for, it looks like computer replacement,
Paving River Road,
paving River
Horse
Road.
harness, Wall
Well,
Street.
that's capital outlay improvements other
right,
than
so that's
buildings.
coming out of capital reserve accounts, it's capital outlay.
Okay. But is that, I guess my question for you is, because they're coming out of capital outlay, how is that,
You're
How
asking
is that-
if it's hidden, basically.
how's that hitting the way the budget looks? So, you know, it looks
Well,
like,
that's-
well, we've
that's-
only spent 32% of our budget, but we've taken money out of our savings account, so that's, you know, that's like saying, you know, from your paycheck.
Yeah, I see what you're
You
saying.
know, I went grocery shopping, but I put it on my credit card, so I really have these expenses, but I really just took the money from somewhere else instead of where it should come from, right? So is this really, are we really out of our general funds?
So is that a false sense of security?
Is that a
we
false
think
sense of
we're-
security?
That we think we're all set?
Of-
I
And it
think,
could very well be.
I
don't
can't answer
know.
that
Yeah,
question.
I don't
it should
know.
be part of the percentage with the
If
expenditure.
you're spending money, you're spending money, it's gotta come
It
from
should be in
somewhere.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
but
I kinda
there's
wanna
an
say
expenditure with the
it's-
budget, because
Yeah.
that budget was what the town people approved. And if they're taking money out of capital reserve to do stuff, that's okay to go ahead and do, but if that's
Should
kind of
be-
reflecting in the
Yeah.
Should
budget,
be
showing it
reflected,
lower,
And it may be, I
Right.
just wanna make sure I get the right answer, and
Yeah.
I'll send you the answer in an email, and you can send it out, like early next week, Tuesday or
Or
Wednesday.
someone else maybe, I'll.
Oh.
Yeah,
whoever the chair is.
Yeah, whoever
Yeah.
the chair is, okay.
so, you know, it's a good point, I mean, are
Okay.
you done with this?
Yeah, I don't wanna
I
give
think
an
so.
incorrect answer, cause
Well,
it may
I-
be very well
somebody else,
reflected
right.
in there, cause that's everything, all the money we're
Yeah.
putting out. And if it is, then, you know, but we just have to, yeah, we do have to keep in
Right.
mind that not all the money's coming out of the budget.
Right.
Well, let's,
But, I mean, the thing is though, is that we take from capital reserve accounts on an annual basis.
We-
That's nothing new,
No,
What's that?
you're right, we
we always
do,
take from capital reserve accounts.
but.
We
are-
do, but we
Yeah.
haven't put money in, I think, 2 years.
But we,
Because we're in default.
but are we
Well-
taking money out of capital reserve accounts now to run the town, where taking money out of capital
I don't
reserve
think we are.
accounts over the
No.
past 5 or 10 years, 5 years, was to go ahead and the road agent needed another piece of equipment, and there was money in the capital reserve account to take that out, or, you know.
Well, the loader came out of capital
Right,
reserve.
but, exactly, because of, that's what that's there for.
Right.
But are we using the capital reserve account to offset expenditures that should come out of the budget?
No,
We
like
can't, it's illegal
paving,
to do that.
Okay,
like there's a paving capital reserve
Yeah.
account.
alright,
So if we're taking money from capital reserve and doing River Road, Wall
It's
Street,
very
North Harness,
specific
gotcha,
and.
okay.
and-
that
yeah.
is paving,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're definitely, and that
Yeah.
happens every year.
And the trustee of trust funds, when they get a request to move money from capital reserve, there's gotta be the documentation
Okay.
to support it, the
Yeah.
invoices, it's very clear, it's very
Well,
specific.
okay, so I guess a better way to put that is, we didn't have paving in our,
There is a paving line,
but
yes, there
it got
is.
reduced quite a bit. That previous years was actually in the
We-
budget, right?
Yes,
And now it's like, we're gonna take it out of capital reserve to go ahead and do these pavings.
if we do paving,
If we do pavings,
it hasn't been
right,
approved.
you know,
Yeah, highway construction, sir, you've got $170,000
Yes.
sitting in your budget.
Yes.
yeah, but that used to
In
be a
the
lot more
bud-
than that, right?
No, well, a few years
Yeah, I
A
maybe.
few years ago, right?
Right,
But
but
that's-
it's 170,000,
Yes.
of which nothing has been expensed, so the paving that was done was actually, I believe, encumbered to be paid from capital reserve accounts because of River Road with the new school, horse harness, and, so yeah, that's totally separate then. And the load, whatever the fire department bought, that's their capital reserve for equipment purchases.
Yeah.
Well, that was the tower, that was COVID, that was
Yeah.
that COVID
Yeah,
money.
so.
And then the remainder, or I think whatever payments we have to come out of the revolving.
Right, so the the paving that was done already came out of capital reserve.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was in there for.
Yeah.
And there's still 170,000, now I don't know what
On the
he's
line.
doing on the line item.
So what we decided to do regarding paving is let's wait and see how things go, because we've got, there's high legal And we don't know when the end is in sight, right? So we need to keep some money, cause we may have to take some of that money.
Right.
And I guess
To pay
that's
those legal
kind of-
fees, so that's why we're,
Yeah, that's
We're
kind of
being
sort of
very
my point,
conservative.
Janine, with that, right? We're not really using the money where it's supposed to be used according to the budget, and we're taking it out of capital reserves. Because we're not gonna touch that line item for paving. It's in there for paving, but we're taking the money out of capital reserve.
correct, because it's very specifically designated to
Correct.
paving, we can't take that,
No, I know you can't take
it's a
that.
security blanket.
Correct.
Yeah,
But I guess that's kind of what I'm talking about as far as like,
Yeah.
you know, where things go. But
Yes.
anyway, let's
because
move
that's
on.
generally what you do, is take money
Yeah.
from capital reserve when you have
When you
years
have
that are
to.
really tight,
Yeah.
and if we continue to go default,
Right.
Capital
next year's
reserve
not gonna
gonna
look as
Right.
good as this year.
But in answer to your question, the larger items, your workman's comp, your insurance are reflected as expenditures in this budget. The paving, if you look at capital outlay, that was done for those 3 roads, was taken out of capital reserve accounts. And there remains $170,000 in the paving line to the highway department.
Yeah, we have not approved any paving this year.
Which
So-
might have to go to the legal fees if we,
It might,
yeah.
it might.
Am I hearing that capital reserve funds are being used for paving? Should they be not for hard assets? Like
Just-
fire trucks or whatever?
Well,
What's
there's
the purpose
tons.
of a?
Some
There's
of it was
different
already
capital
approved.
reserve accounts,
Yeah. it was
Sorry.
already
there's different
approved.
accounts, and they're very specific, like, the
Fire.
highway department has them for paving, the fire department will have them for equipment, very specific.
And the highway department
have
has
like a
had
one.
some for paving, in
Yeah.
case of, road washes
PD, I don't know,
out.
they probably have them for,
Yeah.
I don't know, cruisers or something
Yeah.
like that.
So yes, it's not just a big pool of money, it's very specific on
Yeah.
how you can use those
Yeah.
funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any other questions on the expenditure? All in all, in a nutshell, it looks favorable, in light of the fact that we did
Right.
take out some capital reserve money, cause that's what it's for.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much in place for emergencies, default budgets, all that stuff.
Yeah,
As far as the revenues, Diane, you were talking about, revenues coming in, real estate taxes coming in, I know there's an issue there.
yeah, so we've got, when I looked at, it was just shy of $1.5 million of taxes owed. So, we have, put liens on properties, we have agreements with some people.
What'd you say, 1.5?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It was $1 million when, like 2 years ago, actually.
30% of the town budget?
Yeah, after the last evaluation and the tax impact.
Yeah.
Like
For every
$1.3.
$535,000 spent or uncollected reflects $1 on your tax bill. So if that 1.5 is a true number, that's $2.80 on your tax bill.
So the problem is because we're so
Per
over,
thousand.
Per thousand.
we're so overexpended with lawyer fees.
Yeah.
We don't have any money to deed the properties, cause we've gotta deed the properties, put it in the town's name, then it's gotta go to auction, and the whole thing takes, 90 days, I think, for all of that, and I believe,
least.
you might remember,
At least.
yeah,
And recent laws passed up in our wonderful legislature have made it even more difficult for towns and cities when you go to deed a property. And I think sometimes people forget and say, they'll say, that's not fair, they're not paying their taxes, why don't we take their house?
boy, that's,
When we get the house, we
It's the
get
cost.
all the issues that come with it. If
Yeah.
they've been dumping
So-
oil in the backyard, we
Yeah.
own it, so.
And if, we were in any one of the mobile home parks,
So-
we're taking the structure, the land still belongs to the property owner.
yeah,
So if we take that property and we serve them that it's going to auction, usually
Well-
what happens is, and that's not just,
Remove the mobile home.
I know that, and I don't know if that has changed, but it used to be years ago, and I'm talking Holiday Acres, which isn't even Holiday Acres anymore.
Fairview,
But it used to be if you pulled a single wide out, it had to be replaced with a double wide.
yeah.
That was part of their, I don't know if that's
I don't know
still
if
in
that's still the
place.
case under the
Yeah,
co-op.
I don't know, right, cause now it's a co-op.
Yeah, but I know what's happening is, people haven't paid some of them you know, the property and then the list is like, you know, this long of all their tax bills that haven't been paid. The problem is if there's a mobile home that's in the 63 or older or something like that, it contains asbestos. Before we can have it moved out, you gotta abate the asbestos in there, so we're kind of in a catch-22, right? It's like, should take people's properties, certainly, but, you know, with that, like Melaine said, comes, you know, the bill of.
There's expenses now you have to pay, if
And-
you have
and-
a property owner, you have to pay park rent.
Yeah.
Right, and
You
that's
know.
the other
What's the
expense, we,
percentage of homes that are tax delinquent that are mobile homes?
what's that?
What is the percentage, what number of?
Oh,
homes that Mobile homes.
By
are
dollars.
I think it's mostly, well, I'd have to look at, and for the next meeting, John left at lunchtime today, so I
Yeah.
didn't get, cause it's before a long weekend.
Right.
I'm gonna bring that information, and, cause he's got a big, long list of all the properties and how many tax bills they're delinquent on.
And this is
And we-
public knowledge.
Yeah, we did count them up, and it's, I think the bulk of the properties are in the mobile home parks, which makes it very challenging, because, you know, we have to pay the park rent, so. And then when you do auction off the property, you are entitled to get like all the back taxes, that comes right off the top. And any other expenses that the town has incurred, so park rent would be one of those expenses
Insuring the property.
that we can, you know, recover. And then you get to a point where it's like, can we get enough money for this place to cover our expenses? So it's really a tough situation, and there are, you know, people in those co-ops that know that, and they're like, I'm not gonna pay my taxes, nothing they're gonna do anyway.
Right.
So, you know, that gets, you know, spread around the co-ops, you know, but then when you do spend the money and start taking some properties, that spreads through the co-ops also, and then you see people start paying.
Right. So it's very unfortunate, and, you know, I mean, we're in dire times.
Mhm.
I mean, countrywide, you know, housing is a big issue.
Yep.
So it's a catch-22, you know? It's,
So I think, Keith, when you said you moved into town, the mobile homes versus stick-builts was a 50-50, right?
I think there was,
So-
I think when I moved into town in 1995, 96.
So I'm sure we built more
Um,
houses since then,
There
but not
there
a
were actually
ton.
more mobile homes than there were houses.
Okay, so it's
Right, by a few, not a
It's
lot, but, you know, 100 maybe.
probably,
Now there's more homes than there are mobile homes.
yeah,
I
but we
believe
haven't put in
it
any
does.
big developments.
No,
It's probably
um,
40-60%, 40%,
Yeah.
60%.
Well, the most recent number I've seen on the state of New Hampshire, I think it's economic development keeps tracks these. 30% of our single-family homes in town are mobile homes. We were the highest one in the state I could find. The next closest one was Belmont at 23%. And that's a sensitive subject to bring up, because people go, oh, you hate us because we live in a trailer.
no, and I
We
want,
hate the
yeah.
people that allowed this to happen in town 50 years ago, because we haven't been able to pay our bills for 50 years. Well, we're finally getting investment now, sorry.
Yeah.
sorry.
And there were a lot of wonderful people in the parks. I mean, there are, you know?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I know, but I think that if we crack down on them too, you gotta keep in mind, it's like, maybe if they really realize that that's going to happen, it's gonna be a lot less expensive for them to pay their back taxes.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be for them to rent someplace, cause rent and finding another home are gonna be a lot more expensive than what they're probably paying
Yeah.
right now. So they're better off to at least contact the town and make
Yep.
some type of a payment arrangement, even if they can't afford to do it all at
Right.
once, but to try.
Right, and we do that, and we do
Yeah.
have several people on a payment plan.
Yeah.
You know, and then they come in, but then some of them pay for a few months and then they default.
It's very sad. It's
Um,
very sad.
Yeah, so in order to hopefully get ahead of this issue, I was thinking, you know, maybe when we get later on in the year is discuss putting, a capital reserve fund for legal expenses, right? And leaving it broad enough where we could use it for unanticipated legal expenses like the situation we're in now.
But allow us to lien and deed and,
Exactly, but also allow us to lien and deed.
and
because
cover the cost.
for the
until it
newer
sells.
pieces of property, like the double wides, and even, I mean, we got stick builds that
Oh,
need to be
absolutely.
auctioned off too.
This isn't just mobile home, it's
It's
stick
not.
built as well.
It's across the town. So once we recover the money, you know, on some of those properties, we would recover all the money we put out. we wouldn't just be spending out of it, but, you know, we would lose some money because of older houses that have, you know, issues that, you know, we need to abate,
Right.
so.
AI says 35% mobile homes in Allenstown.
Oh, it's gone.
35%, okay.
I don't know.
You know, well, you know, maybe because, you know, they've replaced single wides with double wides, that
Maybe,
probably
that just
cut
is
down.
that just is what AI says right now, right? So, I
So
mean,
46
Okay.
is not that far off.
no.
So, you know, I mean, this discussion came from, you asked about revenue, but I think revenues are coming in.
Number of homes is one thing, and percentage of tax revenues is another, is it not?
Correct.
Well,
Sure.
Because
I'm
the mobile
fairly
homes
sure the
are-
taxes of my house are higher than,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
so just looking at the number of houses is kind of
Right.
irrelevant.
but
Yeah.
actually, Steve,
Right.
if you really kind of look at it, right, and I'm not disagreeing with you when you look at just taxes, but when you look at park fees, when you add the park fees of what they're paying per month, because the park property gets taxed as well. So my mobile home, if I lived at Bearview Crossings, right,
Mhm.
my mobile home gets taxed. I pay the taxes on that. Bearview Crossings pays the taxes on all the property,
On the land.
on the land, right? And so I'm paying taxes and I'm paying park fees
Mhm.
per month.
Yep.
And I bet if you looked on their websites and see what their park fees are and looked at what their taxes are and did that divided by 12, they
Okay.
probably pay more than you are per year.
I think Bearview was up to
I was gonna say, I think about
629,
I thought it was 600 for some
629 or
park
619
Okay.
or something like that, is
Yeah.
what,
So So say,
Somebody who
say
lives-
600 times 12 is $7,200 a month in park fees,
Mhm.
right?
Add that to the tax. I get what
Add
you're
that to your
saying.
tax.
Right, but the park fees cover everything else. It covers their trash, which they didn't
Right.
affect them. It also covers their
Correct.
plowing
Water
and
and
the
sewer.
road.
But
and-
when we do our
Yeah.
taxes, they don't sit there and say, oh, you live in Bearview Crossings, we're gonna subtract this for,
Prorated.
you know, because you don't get your garbage picked up by the town, where you're gonna deduct this because you don't get your roads plowed by the town, we're gonna deduct this because you don't get your roads paved by the town.
right.
It doesn't happen.
They're still paying a
They're
good
still
chunk of the
paying.
budget,
Mm.
you know,
You know what I
fire,
mean?
police.
Certainly heard the complaints about that at the deliberative session.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
lots of, you know what I mean, but again, I've told people that I know that live in the parks, and I don't wanna sound disrespectful the way that came out was, you need to talk to your park then about what your fees are and what you guys are paying and how come it's so expensive,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
What's going on there that those are so expensive,
I'm
but
just
they all
saying,
have
the
have
park fees
people.
are paying more than just the taxes though, when they're paying the park fees. They're paying for the administrative,
Correct.
they're paying for a lot of things that go into it because.
The same thing we're paying in our taxes. We're paying for the administrative, we're paying the garbage pickup, we're paying the roads being
Yeah.
plowed, we're paying the roads being paved, we're paying it's the same thing.
Fire and police.
The fire and the police, right?
Everybody.
Well, I
think
gets
they
that.
pay their own, don't they?
They do pay their own, but that's what I'm saying is, what they're paying in park fees
And they're paying it.
is the same thing that,
Oh, gotcha.
that
You're still paying it in taxes.
is basically a tax,
Right, they're
right?
paying on a
Double
smaller
divided.
amount
Right.
because their value is much less than the stick houses.
What-
Actually, not
Not
really
really.
anymore. Not really, some of those.
Not when you look at them,
Yeah, no, they're not.
$250,000, and
Yeah,
I'm just
No,
like,
I agree with you.
I mean,
So,
and
but-
if you,
Not
again,
anymore.
yeah, if you look at the mobile homes for sale, I mean, some of those are going for 250,
Yeah.
300,
Yeah.
a lot of money, and next year we have to reassess. So
That's
when
gonna
we
hit.
reassess, from what
Yeah.
I hear, the,
So-
What happens if,
The mobile
if they
homes are
don't pay
gonna
their
get
park
hit hard.
fees? We're talking about not paying the Allenstown taxes. What happens to those folks if they also don't pay their park fees?
I don't know, I don't know what the park does.
The park will
I'm
go
not
after them
sure.
for that. They'll want that before anything else.
I don't know, they may lien the properties, or, I don't know, we'd have to find out from the park committees or.
Because every
the
park, I think,
boards.
has different rules and regs.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it
Yeah.
at all.
so,
But according to the, this revenue report, again, it's, 42% into the year, we've
No, I
only
mean, we've got
collected.
Hillsbrook, Hillsbrook's online, they're giving us a good chunk of money. And, I know we've
Brady
been waiting, and we
Sullivan.
always talk about the Brady Sullivan building.
How many more years to Brady Sullivan?
one or two,
Oh, that's it?
I think it's only
Yeah.
one or two.
Should be one or
Brady
two.
Sullivan's is on 7 year. So I
Yeah,
think we're on 4 right now. Now, that'll be a windfall when that comes
Yeah.
on,
What's up with
Right.
the tax rolls, because we're
When-
going from
When they
they're paying taxes on.
converted the building over.
1.1 million
Yeah.
or something.
So,
Go ahead.
isn't
That's
that,
all right.
isn't
No,
that 7 years?
We're gonna be respectful here.
Isn't that 7 years from the time they start the construction, right? It's not from the
If-
time they get their the certificate of occupancy, it's the time they start.
No, it's from the time they get it.
Oh.
That's how I understood it, Keith.
Oh,
Once you get the certificate of occupancy, which is why we're all over the building inspector, just don't drag your feet on this.
So right now though, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, they're paying on the value of the property at the time that they purchased it, in the
I
condition
believe
that it was
so.
in.
It's
So-
called a 79A. It's
So
a
in
state.
7 years, they're fully on the tax roll.
1 year, yep, we'll go from a very small.
I think
Amount.
it's just over 1
I
million.
think that's gonna be between 25 and 30 million.
So that's gonna be a big, big,
So when does that happen? When's that
in 2
date?
years. And Hillsbrook,
should be coming off.
Hillsbrook should be at 100% on the tax rolls, and they're jumping to what? 30?
They're at 80% right now.
They're at 80%,
2 years, they'll be at 100.
and their value is right up there as well.
I haven't checked it to see what they're paying on now, but,
Well, we don't even know who it is now.
Last time I checked, they,
Hospice something of, they changed their name.
oh,
The
that's right, they
property was
sold out, that's
sold.
right.
The business wasn't, but the property was sold to Hospice something of New England.
Oh,
I'm gonna Google based on address, because I know it's Chester Turnpike. Hang on here.
last time I checked, which was probably
Because
a year ago now, they had paid like $300,000 in taxes to the town.
as soon as the voters passed that tax abatement program in 2017, these guys were knocking on the door. If we hadn't have done that, if the voters hadn't have done that, they wouldn't know how to find Allenstown on a map.
That's it.
No tax cards and tax maps.
Because when we did all of the budgeting for the new school, we had anticipated that once Brady Sullivan and Hillsborough were fully on the tax roll, that would, what they're bringing in would surpass what our debt service is on that new school.
That'd be nice.
That's how it was all factored in.
That'd be nice.
What's the address?
Two Chester Turnpike.
I hear it on scanner 5 times a day. Or twice a day.
Yes, 3 calls a month, they said. Something like that.
One day they went there 3 times and it's before 8 o'clock in the
Why
morning.
don't you have your tax kiosk?
Oh, I'm in the wrong one.
Yeah, you need to go and see
Yeah,
your tax
I know I was
kiosk.
at the wrong.
I thought I had an icon on here, cause I look at that all the time.
But we should be able to get it on,
Let's go to the GIS site.
What are you looking up? What they pay?
yeah, but I thought I could get to the tax kiosk from here under tax cards.
I got it right here.
So,
Two Chester Turnpike, hang
Yeah.
on. Okay, Two Chester Turnpike.
Fire extinguisher.
Their current assessment is 12,105,000. And they, Allenstown Senior Living Center, okay. So their last bill, their December 2025 bill, was $155,875.
Yeah, last time
And
I
they're
checked,
not,
they
but
were-
what it doesn't tell me is, of that 12 million, I mean, obviously they're not at 100%.
Yeah.
So if I take, back into it, 12,105,9. Looks like they'd be adding that, no, that can't be right. What the heck?
what did you say they were assessed at?
12,905. And if they're at 80%,
Tax value is 17.2 million, does that sound right?
yeah.
Hmm.
12,925.
Yeah, so they're at 17.2
Yeah.
million, which means, you know,
So they'll be adding another 4 million, so that's another $2.
that's another 5 million they'll be adding.
5 million, so
So,
As of
So
this
another
current
2.5.
assessment, right?
$2.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, and Brady Sullivan, I know it's gonna be way higher than that.
Yeah.
So, we can just hang on for 2 years.
So,
You're not at Brady Sullivan anymore, are you?
No, no,
No?
do whatever you want to.
Okay,
so
I won't ask questions.
do you
Don't
know,
have a
are we
ball
gonna
on the
get back
inside.
to, well, remember we used to get our tax bills in like March and October?
I never saw my tax bill in March.
Maybe it was April,
April, beginning of May,
you know?
June,
and then-
July.
That was June, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because it used to be, we used to get it around the 3rd or 4th month, and then we used to get it around the 9th or 10th month,
Maybe
right?
once upon a time, but
Not
I
too
know for a
long
long
ago.
time,
I'd
it's
be
always
getting it
been
in
due
June,
in
it's due
July,
in
it's due
July.
in first week of
November, due
July.
at Christmas.
I would say it was
Yeah.
probably within the last 5 to 7 years that changed.
It's possible,
But
once upon a time back.
I remember part of it is because when I would go in and renew my license plates,
Yeah.
I used to get my tax bill at the same time, instead of having to mail it, they're like, oh, do you want your tax bill while you're here? And I'm like, sure, I'll take
I
it,
just
right?
remember it used to be so.
And that's how I remember that, right? And then when I was
Yeah.
asking Sean Mulholland, when he was our town administrator, he was like, yeah, you get it midway through you get it at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, and end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. So because you're paying their first tax bills for the first half, that way you have
Yeah.
revenue coming in. And then when, remember when Sununu, they couldn't pass a budget and it went forever, and that's why our tax bills got pushed back to June, because it was like right when the fiscal year ended is when they finally passed the budget. I remember stupid
Right.
stuff, right? So, Canal, they're paying $16,000 in, their last tax bill was $16,000.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they make that on like 3 units rent.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
yeah. If I'm looking at the right one.
yeah, they're the ones
Yeah.
that said, oh, they'll be
25
between
Canal Street.
16 and,
Yeah.
I mean, between 3 and, I don't know, 10 kids or something in
No.
school.
They're-
More
they're
like
When
at
I
three.
left, there was way more than
Oh,
that.
there is
Yeah,
way more than
We expect
that.
that there'll be more like 3, and when I
Yeah.
calculated how many kids at school, which was 18,
I think there's
As
a
of
bus
like
that just goes
2
there.
years ago, it was like 18.
I think the bus goes,
They were-
they pick up like at Whitten Street, right, the park.
So,
Or no, they have to come to the school.
That place was costing us money.
So as far as revenue, the bottom line, there's still, big chunks of things that are, we
So-
haven't received checks for, meals and room tax being
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah.
for 490,000.
Fairview Crossing, their December tax bill was $167,268.
It's
Compared
okay.
to
Oh,
16,
like really,
compared to 16 for the other one?
No, you said Fairview Crossing?
Yeah.
Fairview Crossing,
That's a mobile home park.
that's a mobile home park.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a mobile home park.
Yeah, they're paying that versus 16,000 is what I think I heard for.
If I looked at that right,
Yeah.
for Canal, but that mill was because
That was,
that was to
that
give them the
was
exception, so
federal
they would
relief
do
too, right?
to
That
do,
was
huh?
federal,
That was federal,
yeah,
yeah,
so we didn't have complete control of that.
right.
Or
But,
they leave the mill desolate like it was.
leave it desolate, right, exactly.
So it's better that we
I
brought
mean,
them
it's
in.
better that it didn't fall apart, but
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
still.
But that'll be coming off in a couple
Motor
of years.
vehicle registrations. will
and
be
they also
down.
had a lot of,
I see a lot
Toxic
of,
chemicals
when
to clean
when
up
I was
there,
down
too.
there, there'd be lots of times people wouldn't re-register their cars down there either. It's like, there was like, they'd be there like over a year and still be with their Texas plate, Mass plates, Alabama plates. It's
till the
like,
cops stop.
huh?
Till the cops
Wait,
stop,
let me
if they
give you
do.
this, hang on, until
That
next
goes-
time. That's gonna have to come back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so any questions on expenditures and revenues of the town? Good to move on to the school?
Sure.
All right, Keith, I have questions for you, my
Oh boy,
friend.
here it comes.
Your turn.
Okay. 14,262 is the budget. There's quite a bit of unencumbered. What's unencumbered, I mean,
So we are on a freeze right now of, they're not spending any more money. We've been like that for a couple months. We're about, I'm using round numbers here, about $230,000, over budget right now.
274, 241,
274,
but who's
yes.
counting,
Exactly, who's counting?
right?
However, we're also about $157,000 more in revenue.
Okay, let me get to the
That could come
revenue.
in.
Hang on,
And the biggest chunk of that $274,000 is special ed things.
Mhm.
So once we get through the next month, we'll have a really much better hit and understanding of where we're at with the reimbursements we get for special education and the USDA for the meals, the school nutrition. So we're
So, meals and-
anticipating,
hold on.
we're anticipating that we might have to pull some money out of special ed capital reserve. because,
10,760,
that's where, the majority of that overage is coming from right now. Cause we've had some big expenses with
Special ed.
special ed, yeah. That had to go on placements and you gotta have a bus drive that, yeah, it's just absolutely crazy and insane, right?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that disrespectfully, don't get me wrong.
No, that's just
Uh,
something that.
the
we-
unfunded
we
state
can't
mandate,
control,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but there are some things that are looking to change, with that, where there's a consortium, I think I'm saying that word right, of the Lakes region, that's kind of what Allenstown belongs with, that are looking to try to bring some of that special ed closer to the towns. So we're not taking people into Massachusetts, we're not, and doing more locally. Now, again, I can't speak to a lot to that right now, cause I don't know, but, we have, if we have to, we have the money in the the capital reserve, and there's also, I think, $38,000-ish that hasn't been put in yet from the, capital reserve fund for the generator, as well, so, it's tight.
but the money's there for that.
The money's
The
there.
generator's in there.
Yeah,
just gotta come.
it's tight. We knew it was gonna be tight, but we also knew that, we wanted to come in under default budget, so that we, to try to go ahead and do what we could do. So we anticipated when we did this budget that we were gonna be really tight and we might have to use capital reserve funds, to make up. Now, I will tell you, as you guys have been watching the news, we're in really good shape compared to a lot of school districts.
Yes,
We didn't get hit, we got hit, but we were able to be okay with the school choice insurance last
That's
year.
what I was wondering, what's going on with that, them being able to select like schools or whatever if they're coming from a different
Oh, no,
district?
I'm
Oh,
he's
insurance.
talking about the school choice, and that's what made a lot of towns actually had to close schools.
The insurance, the health insurance,
Okay,
that
We would've
was,
had a surplus, right?
yeah, we would've had a surplus, but we had to, pay that, but again, our portion wasn't, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I wanna say it was somewhere around $200,000,
Yeah.
which again is a lot, but there's some that are looking at $1, $2, $3 million, in that, we have a new principal we hired, and, we have a couple other open positions, for next year. We will need to
Teacher's
have,
position?
yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. Teacher, para, special ed.
They retirements or
Retirements, moving
Okay.
on, not re,
upping their contract?
what's the word I'm looking for?
Renewing their
Not renewing, thank you.
Not renewing it?
If they're less than like 3 years or 5 years, I forgot what Allenstown is, they can just be like, thank you very much, but, I personally, I'm not anticipating having a hard time because of all these other, schools surrounding us that are cutting positions, and not funding positions, and whatnot, so
But you're losing some tenured positions.
we,
They're not only 3 and under.
well, we've had some people retire, we're gonna have
Yeah.
some people resign, we're gonna have some people like move on, but really a lot of the tenured, when they're there 7 to 8 years, on up, really it's hard to go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
Because of then you have to start out at a new school, and then you're first on the chopping block, right? From that standpoint, and now, again, I know, it's like when you go anywhere else, when Elaine was in baking, if she left People's Baking, went to TD, that doesn't mean she'd be first on the chopping block, but you take that chance no matter where you go and what happens, but, you know, we pretty much do have the budgets under control as much as we can right now, and again, like I said, we knew we would probably, you know, not wanting to, but we knew we would most likely have to dip into capital reserve funds, at the end of the year. We're hoping we still don't have to once it comes in, because we're 274 over, but I think we're 154-ish more in revenue, so that really only puts us at 130-ish.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
just bed transportation that's hitting the budget.
Yeah, it's crazy, with what happened with that, so, that's kinda, you know, kinda where we're at right now with things.
But all in all, it's tuition, the enrollment is the same. Now, you had a question, Vicki, about school choice.
No, I was just wondering how it was affecting us with that, with the, I guess the
Open
choice
enrollment?
thing, open
Yeah.
enrollment, yeah. Yeah, where they
It's
could come from
affecting
other
us-
districts, I didn't
Yeah,
know
it's
if that
affecting us a
was-
little bit, so
Yeah.
we have an agreement with PA called the area agreement,
Yeah.
where, you know, it says that your students, if you're in Allenstown, Chichester, Epsom, or, Pembroke, have to go to PA.
Mhm.
Or you pay for them to go to a private school, right? But there's been some challenges with that because of open enrollment and a lot of legal battles and stuff in the Supreme Court, and what means what, where does our agreement stand, like all that kind of stuff. So that's why we put that warrant article on in the fall, about, you know, bringing in so many students. But our numbers are fairly, you know, stable, if that makes sense. From year to year, we can take on more students, if we had people moving in, we do have the room for it, we do, you know, depending on which grade, obviously, we might have to go ahead and make some adjustments to teaching schedules. You know, if all of a sudden, you know, we went up to, you know, 52 eighth graders, well, you know,
Right.
you gotta make some adjustments, right?
Right.
So, you know, but yeah, we can definitely
But that would be
take on
other
some more.
towns having to pay us.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, but, well, and so what happens with Pembroke Academy is we get tuitioned, and it's gonna be, I don't have that number in front of me, let's just say $20,000 for round numbers, it's less than that, right? However, the PA enrollment's going down, right? Pembroke lost 13, I think they lost 13 students, Allenstown lost 5 students. There were 25 students in total that left PA over the course of the year.
Should you do that, so we have to pay these other districts for them then?
Well,
Or-
I don't know from that standpoint, because that would be up to the individual towns. Right now, did they go to, I don't have that paperwork with me, because I gave it to somebody else,
Is it
but did they go to, you know, a homeschool, did they go to a private school, did they go to a charter school? So it
Okay.
really kind of depends right now, from that, aspect, but what happens is, it still costs, again, we're gonna use round numbers, right? It still costs $1 million to operate PA. It costs a lot more than that, but round numbers, right? Well, if you have 100 kids there, it costs $100,000 per kid. If you have 50 kids there, it costs $200,000
Right.
per kid. So that could affect what our overall amounts go. We don't have that finalized yet, so that's gonna affect a little bit of the bottom line budget. Now, we have less Allenstown students going there than we budgeted for, but what's gonna be the final cost with the total enrollment going down at PA, because it's still a fixed cost. Just because you lost 25 students doesn't mean you got rid of one teacher, right? That doesn't mean, you know, you have 25% light, you know, lights on 10% less of the time, things like that. So, that number's still gotta be finalized out yet.
This tuition to other districts, this is the PA
Yeah.
tuition, correct?
Yeah.
2.5 million is what the number
Yeah.
is. My
So
question,
that's what we pay regardless of whether or not we have.
No, that's
No.
what's budgeted on the basic
Right.
numbers. I think we said there was gonna be like 51 students that are gonna go there based on the 8th graders. What we had in 8th grade,
they add that to
add to and
seniors.
subtract the seniors that leave, right? So there's that anticipation of these are what our
Okay.
numbers are, but you know, you have kids moving, families moving out of district, you know, out of state, you got kids moving in state, all that kind of stuff goes ahead and changes those numbers, but, so we have roughly 10 students less than we anticipated for. But what is that gonna mean when all the final numbers are in, right?
So
So-
my question is, and I'm just gonna use simple numbers just for simplicity here, but if I have a kid at the school, at our school, paying, and we pay what, 14, I think it's 14,000 per kid or thereabouts, whatever that number is. And I choose to pull my kid out of Allenstown and put him into a private charter school that pays 15,000 a year. Does the town of Allenstown have to, is it what we would have paid at this school, or do they adjust
You
for
know,
what's at the new
so-
school?
I am honestly so confused on that right now
'Cause it makes
because
no sense.
there's been so many different legislative bills that have gone in. There were over 200 education bills about stuff this last year with charter schools and open enrollment and all this other kind of stuff. I don't want to give you an answer to that because I honestly don't remember anymore because there's been so many different numbers thrown at us and I don't know if anything's. I know the one body said, well, this is what the number is going to be, and somebody said, oh, that's what the number is going to be. Then the state's got to put more towards the school because right now you're only giving us $7,000, I think,
I don't know.
right? But you're saying that we have to pay $14,000 if they decide to go to this other school.
But did we have a lot of students that did that?
No.
Or,
No.
so
No.
it's
And I
still
think
like
you're
kinda-
gonna see it more
that's-
at the high school level, and I think you're
Yeah.
gonna see it because of sports, to be quite honest.
Well, I do think that, I do think that, you know, depending on the parents and where they're working at, what's going on with different things, but it's so important to be around your own age group in elementary school, right? If you live in Allenstown, you wanna be with the Allenstown kids, you don't wanna go to school in, you know, Barnstead, because you start making friends in school and then you don't see them because you live 20 minutes away or half an hour away, right? So we don't see that a lot in the younger grades. More of it is you know, maybe pulling out to go to a private school, you know, or a homeschool aspect because maybe there was an issue at the school and the parents just felt like they could do a better job with that. So, but yeah, there's still too many dollars and numbers and stuff getting floating around on who's paying what happens if this place goes there and that and the other thing.
And it could all change next year.
And it's all gonna change again, right? That's why we did those open enrollment warrant articles, to get ahead of it. But it could all be for naught, depending on what the legislation does, and then whoever sues that and goes to the Supreme Court and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So, I know I really didn't answer the questions, but,
No, I was just kinda curious if we had any students that were like taking advantage, like coming into our school from other districts, or if we had how many we had going out that we're having to pay for.
yeah.
I think when I was reading it before, I think we were gonna have to be responsible of 80% of that
And again, that's
tuition,
all-
But, yeah.
All
so
numbers
It's a
up in
moving
the air.
target, no,
Just
yeah.
kinda wondering, yeah.
Moving target.
You said revenue kinda put me off onto that, because if we did have them coming in from other districts, then
And-
that would be money that would be
Right.
being paid to us for them.
And my concern with it, and you'll remember when we were meeting at the school for one of our budget meetings, when this, I think, what's his name, Jack, talked about it. My concern was, that, you know, for Allenstown, it's Allenstown students first, so how's this gonna work? But I guess we cap it to whatever that number is. We can
Yeah.
take 20 or 25
Yeah.
of kids coming in, but we'll always have room for Allenstown.
Right.
Yes,
Because that was my concern,
Yeah.
it's like,
we'll always have room for Allenstown kids, and we'll only take it if there is room in that grade level.
Yeah,
right.
Right, so if we're at, let's again use stupid numbers here, if we're at 60 students in second grade, and we have 3 teachers of 20, we're not gonna bring in any more second graders, unless they
Right.
move into Allenstown, and then we have to.
but if
Right.
we had availability in one room where, if we had room for 3 more students to
Right.
come in, that would be income coming in too, and not increasing really much our expenditure, because you're already paying the teacher. you're
Correct,
paying
because a
the
lot
cost,
of that
you're
is
paying the
fixed,
heat.
is fixed
So in
costs,
a
right?
way,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
be.
and the
it
teachers
could
are
be
really good
additional.
about, you know, if you had that happen in second
Yeah.
grade, now you have 3 third graders, so the teachers have to kinda
Yeah,
juggle, you know, and
Yeah.
it follows you to 8th grade,
yeah, that's true.
you know?
Yeah.
So, unless someone moves out, but, okay,
What's
So-
the total student capacity of the new school?
oh, I didn't bring my school folder,
Yeah,
which is just,
I'm
I can
sorry, I
get that
don't know.
information for you. There's plenty of capacity in there right now.
Yeah. Plenty of capacity. When it was built in the aspects of, you know,
Town growing.
of growing and not just being like, okay, you know, we have, 700 students. I think,
We're under 500.
I know, but I'm just saying is, right, I think the
It's been a long
capacity
time
is,
since we had 700.
right, but I think the capacity is
Oh,
up
the
there that
capacity.
we could,
Yes, the
yeah, the
capacity.
capacity. Is we can go ahead and get pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really well thought out, with looking at growth and, making this a viable school for,
And
50,
we have the
60
grant.
years.
So we had the grant, the $20 million grant.
It was.
We're at 2.076 for 20 years, of which
Yeah.
I think this is our
It's
fourth
kind of like a
payment.
no-brainer, really.
You know, we floated a bond of
Yeah.
13 million.
Yeah.
I know Pembroke Hill School was looking to do an addition last year, the year
Yeah.
before, and they were just looking to put a second floor on one wing of their building
Yeah.
and a standalone gymnasium on
Yeah.
that property. And the price tag came in at 55 million. No foundation aid money. So we lucked out.
Yes.
It was COVID year, I get it, I got the mean phone calls, but we lucked out.
Yeah.
You know, and the land is 59 acre parcel, granted, there's some wetlands on it,
Yeah.
beyond kind of where the baseball field is, which was donated. So if we ever, 10, 20 years down the road, we say, okay, it doesn't make sense to keep sending our kids to PA, we've got the, you know what I mean, there's room
This
for
is
growth.
true. This is true.
You know, and that's kind of the vision we had, so that we weren't stuck in these two really old,
PA and Pembroke belong together, PA had
But you
Yeah.
gotta remember though.
you have to
like,
look at all options.
You
Yeah,
have
I
to,
know.
you have to look at the options when you look at, high schools,
Yeah.
right? It sounds good, like, let's just keep our own kids and have our own high school, but now you're looking at 140 students in 3 grades. How do you have a basketball team? How do you have a sports
Yeah.
team? How do you
Yeah.
how do you offer even 7 different math classes, or, French and Spanish and German and these
No,
different
you're absolutely
languages,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Comac Auto Mechanics, when I was in school, that was a biggie,
Family
Yeah.
and consumer
you know,
science.
now it's, I know, now
It's
it's
not
family
Comac.
consumer science.
How old are you?
Shut up, please.
We're home at
I
home, that's
still-
all.
I still call it
Yeah.
Comac.
They had free driver's ed, that was nice.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to move on to, elections.
And I get a credit for it
So-
at the same time.
So we will, I'm gonna go into election of seats. So as I had mentioned earlier, I do not wish to be chair. I've done it for more years than a long, long, long time. And I just like to step back and just be a member at large. Just come to the meeting, without, fighting to get a quorum, filling positions. It was getting a lot.
I'll nominate Tim Silvernail for chairman.
Quick, would you accept the nomination?
So.
Can we put this off until we get the full board in here to see if anybody else?
We can put it off till next month, but as of next month, you wanna be interim chair? Or you don't have to be, no one's,
Right.
Yeah, so Tim, I shouldn't say Tim, everybody needs to know is that, Diane nor myself can be chair, vice chair, of this, cause we're,
School
on
board and
school
board of
board and
selectmen.
selection, so we can't be it. I'll
I don't
also,
have enough experience, I would.
the
feel
best way to get
comfortable.
experience is jump right into the fire.
Ah,
Um,
that's
Jump
all
right
right.
in the fire.
So you guys do know though, I'm glad,
I
Elaine, I'm
know.
glad you said next month. So you guys do know, we will have to have, this is what's gonna get a little bit tricky here. So as you remember, the para and the school teachers' contracts failed. But the town voted and said they would, voted to have a special meeting if needed.
By law they can.
If they, for, teacher and para contracts.
Okay,
Okay, so right now, as of our meeting Monday night, the select board, school board meeting Monday night, there was an agreement on a teacher's contract, a 1-year teacher's contract. And then this week, they were meeting with the paras again to try to finalize a contract with the paras. So for that to happen, because we're an SB2 town, we have to go through the same process of we did in January and March. So
So we have to meet as Board of Selectmen.
we have to meet as
Board
a
of
budget committee and approve, recommend or not recommend the contracts. We have to have a hearing, and then a deliberative session, and then an election,
All of which the school will be paying for.
right? That,
Well-
don't get me started on that one.
Well, I'm
Um,
sorry, but.
No, because they should have gone ahead and forced the union to split, at least split the costs with that, and they didn't do that.
I'm not
so,
school board, so,
Um,
and I haven't been for 29
but anyway,
years,
so that's
good.
gonna, that stuff that's gonna be, I'll tell you, those things are gonna be coming that we have to do. But historically, Malene, you know this, once we get out of May, we can't get a quorum together until September, right? We've tried in June,
We're almost
and,
at the end of May.
Right.
huh?
Well, this
Correct.
meeting was supposed to be last week. I postponed
Okay.
it because I wouldn't have had a quorum because there was a ZBA meeting of which Diane and
Okay.
people participated. So this is the thing, you're forever juggling.
Okay.
Juggling for meeting space, although the good news is that come September, October,
Yeah.
the AES building,
Yeah.
which if you haven't walked through it, I encourage you to do it, it's wonderful.
Oh, can we just go over any time and walk through it? or
Uh,
do
if
we need-
Peter-
Well,
Peter's
as long
there.
as Peter's there.
He'd let you in and give you a tour, it's phenomenal.
If you contact Peter ahead of time, because there is,
Yeah.
there is pre-K over there.
Right,
What's his last
Yeah.
name again?
DeSantis,
Okay,
and I'm sure he'd walk you through,
okay.
and how it's gonna be set up, just to those of you that don't know, is you're gonna be coming in from the far side, looking at the building, left-hand side, coming in the side door,
Mhm.
and your town clerk's gonna be right there. Beautiful counter, all made. Peter got most of the furnishings for the boardrooms and so forth on Marketplace for free.
Yep.
It was
Get
just
it from
amazing.
Wherever it was.
Mhm.
It was amazing. And there'll be meeting space that you can accommodate a couple meetings at a time. You
Yep.
can have ZBA in one place, Board of Selectmen, Budget Committee, you know. So that will make it easier, but the fire department has been really great about letting us use this space
Mhm.
until that opens.
The Historical Society pretty much painted, I painted one meeting room, they painted the rest of the building.
Yeah.
Wow,
So it's all been done
Armin
pretty
and
much
his guys, they
internally.
painted. Um,
okay.
You should see his museum, it's
and Peter
amazing.
and again, the Historical Society,
Yeah.
they polished all the floors, I mean,
Do you ever walk
Wow.
into Kohl's and you feel like you're gonna slip on their floors?
Yeah,
it's like 80% done.
It looks just like that. It's amazing. And that was with the town buffer.
wow.
So it
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was
Well,
pretty.
that's what happens when you have heart and you care about what you're doing.
Yeah, and let's get it
you
done.
feel ownership in it, you're gonna put the pride into getting the
Yeah,
work done.
because
right.
we had been saving for this for the, since the school went
Armin-
through.
Armin is thrilled to,
Yeah. Because we voted for the new school and then there was a separate warrant article
Yeah.
for, I think like $100,000. You know, we did it every year for the last 4 years.
oh yeah, for the,
To renovate that. So we
Yeah.
got it for $1 and we didn't
Yeah.
even get paid $1. But the Diocese of Manchester paid $1 for their building.
Send it to collections.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never build a town hall for less than $500,000. You know, and that was all capital reserve money. So, I don't mind opening the meeting, next meeting,
okay, but we're going right into
but we're
election.
going right into an election of,
But do we have to do that one in May? What's the one that we have to do?
so the one in May,
before
I had
June?
told Jack, cause he wasn't sure when he would
Right.
want the budget committee to meet. So I told him, I need a good week's notice, you know, but this was like in April.
Yeah,
So now we're the end of May, so now, you know, you've got graduations, you've got all this stuff coming on, July 4th, vacations. So we'll have to really,
This has to get done before the end of the year.
it has to get done by June 30th.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to, but it's easier to let people know when, you know, that there's a contract in place. I mean, it really doesn't have to, because, you know, if the teachers, well, nobody's really working except administrative assistants and administration over the summertime. Those are year-round contracts, so those
Yeah.
kind of are a little bit different than the paras and the teachers. So it really doesn't have to get done before July 1st. I mean, ideally it
Well,
would
I
be.
repeated what
Yeah.
Jack told me.
Yeah.
He said he wanted it done by June 30th.
Wanted it done by June 30th, right? That's what ideally everybody would want done, is so people knew what was going on going into the next school year. But financially, there's no expenditures for teachers or para salaries until August when school starts back up, right? Because if they get their salary year round, it's kind of off of this current school year, right? That's how I got paid when I was teaching,
So if you get a call from me that we need to have, or from the new chair, that, we need to meet as a board, we're gonna have to do anything possible to make that happen. Because we're gonna be on a strict time frame to get it through all those channels.
Well, the other logistics is, somebody's gotta design a ballot, we gotta get the voting machine programmed, we gotta test the voting machine, this,
You gotta punch a
So it's
checklist.
gonna be a full town vote?
it's gotta be a full town vote.
yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay.
that's a lot of money, a lot of money.
I know.
But it's, they're within their rights to do it, but I don't know.
I mean,
So,
they are, so we just
yeah,
gotta
You know.
get people to do that.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on, and again, just like with the town, there's strict date guidelines for how many days from A to B to C to D to E, that it can't be more than, or has to be a minimum of, but not more than, right? So you can't have a budget hearing and then a deliberative session 3 hours later. It's gotta be 15 days or
but
something
you gotta
like that.
post it.
You're right.
Right.
So it'd be
So
a
it's
public
gotta be
notice.
that same time frame. Not more, no less than, but not more than.
It's gonna take a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
But it's
We
gonna
have,
be the school coordinated.
State primaries.
We're just gonna recommend or not recommend. but-
Yeah, and all we have to do is recommend or not recommend,
Yeah.
right? So it's
So it
gonna
would be
be,
a very quick meeting,
Okay.
but it would mean everyone in one room,
Okay.
Or we can all, we can plan a field trip to Libby's campground in New York, Maine, where Diane will be for the summer.
I know, well, that's
And
what I'm
we can
thinking,
just
'cause
vote there.
I got a lot of trips, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that one, but.
So anything else that needs to be brought up before, so just so that you know, just to reiterate, you will be voting on a new chair, you'll be voting on a vice chair, and you'll be voting on a recording secretary. Now, the recording secretary just takes quick down and dirty cliff notes of what happened in the meeting. Because usually we have our recorder, and we were all at town hall today, no one took the recorder. And we have a transcriber, do the minutes, so give it some thought. Okie dokie, and Jeff will probably be here, cause I know he was vice chair.
right.
Yes,
And we had Chris Fowler, who was the recording secretary, who's now on the board of selectmen. And Jeff couldn't be here tonight, I think that's how we voted him vice chair last year.
yes, he was
Yeah,
absent.
he's,
So, by the way, you don't show up, you're vice chair. So that's all I have,
Motion to adjourn.
I'm not done talking,
You
stop
just
it.
said that's all you had.
You are so hateful.
Can you play that back, Tim?
No, I just, I loved being chair, I loved it, I poured my heart and soul into it, but it's time to just sit back
You did
and,
an awesome job, I've only
Thank
been on the
you.
budget committee 1 year, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
you've done a marvelous job.
she's probably
It's
thinking,
a lot of
boy,
work.
is this kinda goofy,
That's
I mean,
right.
the first meeting is always kinda goofy.
I just, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
'Cause, what's the purpose of the budget committee?
To recommend and not recommend budgets,
Okay.
that's
so
our sole purpose.
I've voted for years, and I'll be honest, I've completely ignored the recommendations. When I go to vote, it didn't matter to me whether it was 4-0 or 3-2 or whatever.
Have you attended deliberative
Yes.
public hearings?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Deliberative, for sure.
yeah, the public hearings is where we always
Right,
discuss pretty much line item for people that
So-
are there, I mean,
so the
I have
purpose,
to admit, as a voter, a lot of times I put a lot of weight into what was recommended and what wasn't.
I have too, I was
When I read,
curious
because we
as
pour a lot of,
Yeah,
Why
if
you
I see
ignore
that
that?
it was,
I
if it
go
was
by-
recommended by the select and it was recommended by the budget committee, I
Yeah.
put a lot of weight into that.
right.
So,
yeah.
that's just different
So,
opinions.
I'm just
so, yeah.
curious, yeah, as to
Okay.
why you would choose to ignore
just-
that.
to me, just as a outsider, I guess, didn't have any relevance to me, I didn't have any context. And I read all the information I could about anything that was gonna be on the ballot, and I made up my mind myself. and-
Did you read it on social media?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
A little
that's like
bit.
reading the Inquirer.
Yeah, can be bad,
Yeah.
but, I think I can filter out most of the crap. So that's the way I've always done it. I'm an independent, I vote people instead of
Mhm.
policy.
Yeah.
I don't vote blue or red or whatever, and I just look at things, I make up my own mind. line, so
Right.
I was curious, so I know the budget committee makes recommendations, I was wondering what else the budget committee does.
Well, sometimes we like look at, cause the departments will come, I've only been on it for a year, so, I mean, what do I know? But I found like with last year's, like the department heads would come and we would go over everything line by line.
Okay.
And there'd be some lines like, okay, well, why do you need that? And why do you need, and then sometimes they did go back and adjust it. Sometimes we did find something that they could adjust it with or do a different way. So sometimes it's a little bit of collaborative in there too that might make a difference. But yeah, we don't set the budgets, the departments set.
No, but we
Make no
can-
mistake, this has been very
Yeah.
interesting
Well,
just this
actually,
evening for me, I did this to get more involved. but-
Technically,
Understand.
we own the
Right.
budget. We are supposed to set the budgets. We give our department heads authority and freedom to create their own budgets. But theoretically, the budget committee is supposed to set the budget. We own the budget. This is our budget. That's why
So we can say, no, you can only use
That's
X
why
amount
we
of
signed the
dollars, figure out
MS.
how it works.
That's why we sign that as an MS7.
Okay,
But keep in mind that the Board of Selectmen, and then, they have their vote, although I would recommend this year, last year, I think it's really confusing, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, you've been on it for quite a while as well. To have the Board of Selectmen there with the Budget Committee when we're in full budget
Right.
season, I think can be very crazy, if you will, because it's really a Budget Committee meeting. We control that meeting, and it got to be, there was a lot of dialogue. It wasn't, let's focus, this is Budget Committee. And I think the reason that they started that, quite honestly, is because the department heads would meet with the Board of Selectmen, go through their entire budget, the whys and so forth. And then they'd come to the board, the Budget Committee, and then do the same thing. And it was just so that
It
everyone
was
heard
an
it.
efficiency thing.
Right, it was
For
just,
the
if we have
department
the
heads.
department head come in once, and explain their budgets, it'll be easier, and I find it to be, and we did that for the last couple of years, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of that at all, cause it got very, very, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that was just my personal opinion. It was just, there was like a control thing going on, it's like, wait a minute here,
Wait till this year.
So I would rather we go back to and again, I'm not gonna be chair, but I can make a recommendation to the new chair, to have the Board of Selectmen do their own budget. We'll do our budget. If you wanna come in and listen, certainly anybody can come into these meetings, they're public meetings. Because I think a lot of time was, everything just was repeated and repeated and repeated, and it's like, we're done, let's move on, and that was just my opinion.
yeah.
Again,
And, go ahead.
If there was a control thing, that's really not a good thing.
Right.
Whoever was thinking they were gonna control, people just need to back off and let people speak
Right.
and listen on both sides.
I think
But I-
department heads feel they need to fight for their budget, and that's why everything was very, this is the budget that they wanted, this is what they felt
Right.
they needed, and they felt that they needed to fight for that.
no, and that's fine, and that's what you want the department heads to do.
Right.
Because we don't know,
Right,
so we want the department heads to come in here and fight for their budget or explain why.
yeah.
And those of you that have sat on, I hope last year was, an education for you that
Well, it was the first
learned,
time,
and,
so
yeah.
everything's like. yeah,
Tim, you've
everything
been
was
on a
like,
while.
Yeah.
When we meet with the department heads, we look at their budget, we ask the questions, and we also ask that other question that I think is important that it be asked every year. What is your wish list? What are we looking at 2, 3, 4 years down the road?
What's the function of the Board of Selectmen relative to the Budget Committee?
The Board of Selectmen, they have their recommendation line on the budget. Recommended by the Budget Committee or not recommended,
Right.
recommended by the Board of
Right.
Selectmen or not
So the
recommended.
police department just hypothetically comes in and makes a presentation, that we need this budget for next year, do they do that to the Budget Committee?
Yeah.
Do they
Yes.
make a presentation to the Board of Selectmen?
They will do both.
Yeah.
They will do both.
That's why we had blended them.
So that it
Because
would
the
be one
department
day.
heads had to come in like an entire Saturday and spend it with the budget
Okay.
committee,
Right.
another entire Saturday. And then
Yeah.
some questions may be
Yeah.
asked that would be good for everybody to hear.
Yeah, and if
I mean,
that's the way you want, whoever wants to continue
Yeah.
that, you know,
I think there's
that's,
good arguments on both
And then
sides.
how does
Okay.
the budget number, the final budget number get on the ballot? There's a number for the town which is comprised of those things that gets on the ballot if I vote on it in November.
that's budget.
Where does that number come
So that happens,
relative to the board of
Right.
selectmen and the budget committee? It doesn't come out of thin air.
no,
No.
that
No,
happens at the meetings, when the department heads
The public hearings,
bring their
the deliberative.
in, right, and
Here, here, to the budget.
to the budget committee, yep,
And separately to the board of selectmen.
well,
No, but it's
So
usually,
I
it's
think I
at
heard you say.
ACS, no.
It-
I'm sorry if it's dumb question.
no, no,
I'm
no,
just trying
so,
to
so what
think my way
happens
through
is,
this.
starting in November,
Yeah,
right, is we meet, okay? And, before we made the change, right, to Saturdays, we met every Thursday from basically right around Halloween, mid-October-ish, all the way through January, mid-January, every Thursday
Okay.
for anywhere from 2 to 5 hours, right? There were times we didn't get out of there till 10, 11 o'clock at night, right? And what would happen is the police chief, the fire chief, the highway department, it's gotten condensed down a little bit, but the sewer department, the school would all come in, at different days, not all on the same Thursdays, right? But that's why it got dragged out for so long. And they would present what they needed for their budget. Now, again, it's a lot easier to have them do it, knowing what they need, than the budget committee doing and saying, this is what you're gonna use, right? And then they would come to us. Then they would go to the selectmen, and they would make a change. Then they would come back to the budget committee, and we would make a change. Then they would go back to the selectmen, and they would make a change, or agree to what was already changed, right?
it's that back and forth. I'm
Right,
trying
so
to
what,
understand.
what we ended up doing was, we said, I met with Sean Mulholland and Jeff Gravel, and I said, can you guys talk with the selectmen and the department heads and see if they would rather meet on a couple Saturdays in November and maybe December and present to everybody at once, so everybody's hearing the same thing, and everybody hears the same questions, and everybody hears the same, this is what we wanna do, this is how we wanna change things, this is what's gonna
What you
happen.
were describing just prior to saying that seems awfully disjointed to me.
Right, so that's why we started doing it on a Saturday. So we come up with that final budget number by mid-December-ish, right? And then that's what gets presented at the public hearing,
At the deliberative.
first.
Yep.
And then that just kind of reads out the budget, this is what the town's looking at. And then at the deliberative session, that's where it gets finalized,
Well,
where,
it's their budget, it's the department head budget that will appear at the deliberative. You
Right.
know, fire department requests, $800,000.
Yeah.
At the bottom, it would say, Board of Selectmen,
but at the deliberative session, that's where the townspeople can make any changes before it goes on the
and
ballot.
that's the number that will get on your ballot.
And then it's either that or
Right,
default option.
right.
Right.
Okay.
So at the deliberative, at the public hearing, it will be, this is what the department head wants, that's the number that you're gonna be looking at. And then you'll have Board of Selectmen recommend, don't recommend, Budget Committee recommend, don't recommend. And then that's where, and oftentimes, some of the folks will say, well, Budget Committee, why did you cut? And we could say, well, our reasoning for it, and Board of Selectmen can do the same thing, and whatever everyone agrees to at the public hearing, because we're an SB2 town. So whatever that number they agree to, they vote on, it's townspeople that are voting,
Yep.
that's the number that appears on the budget,
Okay.
on the ballot.
So there's a lot of give and take prior to that process, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
And back and forth.
Right.
Why so much back and forth? Doesn't seem that complicated.
It can be, but last year wasn't
A
as
little bit
bad.
else, yeah, but still it doesn't, I mean, I don't know, it's just,
I honestly think that we need to have a very realistic budget that goes to the town for voting, or if it's not, it's gonna go to default again.
Yeah.
Period. If
Yeah,
it's
you
not
could see-
realistic,
And you're absolutely right,
Yeah.
but
you could see.
realistic in your mind,
well,
and realistic in my mind, and realistic in Scott's mind, and realistic
Yeah,
in
but we
Melanie and
gotta try-
Diane's mind can be completely different. Now, again, people, the problem that we really have is, look at this meeting tonight.
Yep.
There's barely anybody here. No, look at the deliberative session in the budget hearings. There are more committee members and department heads there than there are townspeople there. And so,
I think the social media though did bring a lot of townspeople into those meetings that have increased a lot more than it has, so there is an advantage to the social media being out there. 'Cause it
If,
gets the
and I
public
don't have a problem with
interest
social
up.
media so long as the information is accurate, and more
Yeah.
often than not, it is not. And as a town official, I will not go on there and
Yeah.
correct anyone.
Mhm.
I just won't. You know, come to the public hearing and we'll explain it.
Too many people vote that don't really understand what they're even
Exactly,
voting for.
exactly.
Well,
That's the problem.
And explaining something 600 times,
I
the
voted,
same
I
exact thing.
went on social media, Facebook, I went on for the first time in ever, just this past week, and it was someone, you know, no matter what you do, people are going to complain. They complain about the trash is in, now they're complaining about the times. You know,
Well, the times aren't any different than they've always been.
exactly.
There's been no
It-
change.
No, but
in
I'm
the
just
times.
saying,
Yeah.
this is the mindset, and then I was reading through them, and then someone mentioned, you know, Route 28, well, the town, all they wanna do is spend money and raise your taxes and blah, blah, so let's pave Route 28 because it doesn't even need it, but it's a way to spend money and increase taxes, and I'm like,
So the person is stupid, but they also probably will vote. That's really the problem.
Yeah,
so I went on and said, you
Yeah,
know, just so
it's
you
true.
know, Route 28 is
It's
a
true.
state road. It's funded by the state and not the town of Allenstown, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you gotta be respectful too,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, but you try to, you know, bring them, I mean, these are the facts. So this is the budget as, with all the services that the townspeople want. And if they don't want those services, then they're gonna go cut.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just unfortunate. But, you know, in the month of May, it started in March, you know, March, April, May, we're already talking default. You know, and that's ingrained in minds now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the more you talk about default, the more people are gonna think, well, yeah, that's the right thing to do. It's not. Come and
No,
listen
I
to the
think
budget,
it's- Right,
you know?
right, and having,
Yeah.
you know, and having them understand that the money that's needed when there's an increase has to be, it's
Right.
needed for a reason. Like when the school passed and everybody voted for it, cause we
Mhm.
understood everything that was going on with
Mhm.
it, we understood everything, you know.
Right,
And it's just, right now, it's just kinda hard for the residents because, you know, we are getting taxed high, but then again, every town is high.
every town is getting,
So
and we
it's
have
not-
more services than other
Yeah.
towns.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything
Town of
is
Epsom
high.
has one person on their highway department, if I'm not mistaken.
and they've got a lot of roads.
No dump.
Yeah, and their taxes are just as high.
Yeah,
I did a whole tax analysis
So-
thing last year,
yeah.
which I shared.
yeah.
You know, that we are lower than our surrounding communities.
Talked to a lady in Epsom 2 days ago, and her taxes are 14,000 on a fairly big house, but
Right.
over 14.
But nonetheless, if you look at, you know, like this town, I mean, we have, whether you're for it or not, we have a full-time
Yeah.
fire department, full-time ambulance.
Yeah.
And I know, you know, my mom's needed that ambulance and they were there within a minute, you know, literally.
My only question is why it's 1.3 miles away from the other one up the road?
It's a different
Don't
town.
It's a
even,
different
don't even
one.
bark
Yeah.
up that tree, Steve.
Allenstown
First thing I
and,
did when I got elected,
I
they and at the time,
I
I
just,
think it was September 22, the Board of Selectmen up there said we have no interest in partnering with
Yeah.
Allenstown.
yeah, I'm not saying it could be done.
That will
but
not change as long as
It's
there's a
been
I don't
tried.
understand
people
why.
up
Yeah.
there
You know,
who
there's-
think we're the other side of the tracks.
It's two buildings stuffed full of fire equipment that probably
Right.
duplicates each other.
The
It's,
thing
if you took a big picture, if you came down from Mars, you'd go, why the hell are we doing this? Oh, because there's an imaginary town line across Route 3, just that exists on a map. Just seems kind of.
There's a lot of history there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's,
There is,
it's
but it
not easily undone.
doesn't mean it's not stupid.
Well, right, but I mean, it's, you and I go back probably longer than
my
anybody
dad was
else in
fire
this town.
chief here
It's,
40 years ago.
they've
No
always
insult
done
to
that.
fire chiefs.
What's that?
No insult to fire chiefs.
Oh, no,
or
no,
anything.
no,
No, no,
No,
but
Diane
it's
was
true.
here. You know, but it's way back then.
It's always been an us and them, it's
Yeah.
just,
Do you know, before we went full-time, and it took a year for Eric, the chief, to convince us, a year of going back and forth, showing us numbers.
Yeah.
We read through the contracts. We were not responding to 38% of our calls. 38%.
Wow.
Now, if your wife, say, is having chest pain, or say you've got a house, Keith's house, oh, well, we'll retone again. No one showed, oh, we'll retone again. It's like, we're providing the service. So I know there was a
And with-
lot of people, they got their hackles up about that, but you're still charged with providing services that the people pay for.
I cannot, I find that very difficult that we had 38% of the calls that the fire department did not respond to. I
Check the
Don't.
numbers.
Yeah, check the
Check the
stats,
numbers.
it's true.
Well, you know, when you
It
say
doesn't,
did not
the fire
respond
department
to.
doesn't
Oh,
hold the
sure.
allure that it used to for guys, it doesn't.
I know, but somebody responded to those calls. We would not.
Oh, somebody did, but we
Yeah.
didn't.
Well,
Okay.
That's
why
our
we have-
responsibility.
that's why
Well, we have
three
mutual aid
counts.
fire
The
contact,
stats come
Yeah.
from Concord Fire Line.
so I'm sure someone responded, and Allenstown,
Yeah.
I'm sure got there after,
Right.
that, you know, back
Yeah.
then.
20 minutes.
So it's not like they never showed up,
Right.
they just, weren't first on the scene,
Yeah.
you know, but, I mean, you know, and it's every department, it's, you know, they do the best they can with what they have, and
Right.
I will say though, that Deerfield, I think, what, on year 9 of a default budget?
No, I think they passed it this year.
Did they pass it?
Oh, they may have.
Yeah.
They
I
may
think
have
passed
They
it.
went
finally.
8 years on the default budget, do you know what that does when you're playing catch up for 8 years?
Costs you a lot of money.
Costs you a lot of money.
And they have money.
Yeah.
They just don't want to spend.
Right.
Right.
They just don't wanna support the community. There are a lot of people with money in Deerfield.
All right, so let's get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, the next meeting, well,
I'll second.
we need, okay,
Oh,
we're adjourned.
Aye, I
All
second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
At,
Well, it's gonna,
Keith,